Alright, what this is the same clay that I used for the pinch pot, the practice pinch pot we did last class. This is the same amount of clay. And I decided to do it this way for you guys because now you should still have one chunk of unwedged clay to work with for future projects. So we're going to do this a little smaller than I had originally planned, but I want your clay to last you for a little while because we still have a little over a month of school left before we get to, exams and second semester and holiday break. So I want you to take your clay. I want you to take a few minutes, add some water into it, get it really, really, really soft, okay? And then you're going to shape it kind of into a rectangle. Mine is not perfectly rectangular, but I kind of left it that way. So as long as it sort of looks like this, you're fine. Then you're going to cut it, but you're not cutting it in half. I want you to cut about like there. Maybe here. Just a little over half on one piece. And then this piece is going to be a little smaller. And then from these two chunks, I want you to make 2 pinch pots. Okay? So once you do this, I feel like I need some more water. This is sort of one of those things, the more water you add, the messier it's going to get, but it's kind of important. So again, tell your parents I'm sorry, okay? So just a reminder here, you can see I'm shaping my first piece of clay into a ball. And I'm using a lot of the palm of my hand and the heel of my hand because honestly, I don't know if y'all can see how inflamed my hands are today with my arthritis, but they're just kind of bad. So this is just more comfortable for me to do. And it's important. Now, your first one was practice, okay? But this one, it's pretty important that you constantly are looking around your whole ball of clay because you want it to be as nice and round and spherical as possible because it's going to help your pinch pot be better. Okay? So there's that one. And now I'm going to do the same thing to this one. And then I'm going to make my 2 pinch pots. So I'm flattening this and just adding some water into it so that it's really easy to work with. And then this ball will be bigger than this one because it has more clay. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my 2 pinch pots. And once I've done that, we'll talk about the next step. All right, here we go. 2 pinch pots. One is obviously smaller than the other. If yours look pretty close to this, you're good, okay? This one of mine probably could have been pinched a little bigger. But again, you don't want them to be too thin, you don't want them to be too thick. So it's just a matter of being very intentional and mindful about what you're doing, okay? Always check the bottom. If it feels too thick, push that clay around some more. And, it's not just random. You can say, okay, I want to push my clay up so I have a taller pinch pot or whatever. But you're going to need some paper for this next part. I'm using paper towel. You could use notebook paper. You could use drawing paper. You can just use whatever, okay? That's like too much, I think. Now we're going to put these together, and it's going to look like an egg, okay? But that's how the shape has to start. So today, if you feel like all we did in ceramics class is make a giant egg, then yeah, that's good, okay? So I'm going to put this one on top like this. Now, the paper towel is in there because it's going to help you be able to handle this and do what you need to do without accidentally squishing it together. Common sense will tell you, you have more clay down here than up here. You can tell that. So you're going to smooth your bottom. I'm making a video. your bottom pinch pot up into the bigger one. And because this is so much larger, you have quite a significant amount of clay there to push up. I mean, you can see how far I'm pushing that up. So that's okay, all right? And we definitely want it to look sort of like an egg. It doesn't yet, and I realize that. So trust me in this process. It will get there, okay? Now, all this clay, little extra stuff, you can pull it off if you want to, or you can just smooth it around. But now, because you have the paper inside, you can really handle this pretty heavy-handedly. I mean, you don't have to be so careful. That paper is in there to help it keep its shape and for you to be able to do what you need to do without messing it up. So this is why it was important when you made your pinch pots to not make them too thin, because you want a lot of extra clay here so that you can sort of make this in the shape you want. And I'm just kind of pressing up here at the top. And it looks like an egg. If you have any little areas like this, if it tears a little bit, just take a little bit of your clay and patch it back in there. Let me see if I can make that happen. I should have done it there, but I didn't. Well, I'll just show you. Now, this little piece of clay that came off, you can just add some water to it. Get it really soft. And sort of use it as like a patch if you end up with a hole somewhere. Sometimes it happens because you're moving so much clay around, and at this point now, you can't check it to see if it's like thin enough or thick enough or whatever the case may be. So there is a chance, something could get like way too thin on you, and by squeezing it and pressing it, you can get a hole in it. So just patch it. It's not the end of the world. Okay, remember, plastic clay, really soft, easy, workable clay, is your very, very good friend, because you can change it and fix it and all that good stuff. And then you want to spend a lot of time, as much as necessary. So I can't tell. I think that might be a thin spot. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my extra clay and patch it right there. Okay? And interrupted my own self. You want to spend a lot of time getting this so smooth. You want it to be as not lumpy as possible. And that just takes time. You can use your sponge if you want to for this part. Mine's like totally dry right now. So some stuff, you can do by hand. Your sponge is sort of like, he's good for finishing things. See, he's not fixing that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to patch it. I really should have had a bowl of water for this, but I didn't. So just spend lots of time getting this nice and smooth. I will continue to smooth mine after this video, after I conclude this video, and then I'll take a picture of it and show you how it should look when you're done. So this is all we're going to do for today, all right? So we want to be able to work on this next week. Friday, you'll have your normal Friday assignment. But what I want you to do then, it's got to go in a plastic bag, and it's got to be wrapped up Super, super airtight. If you have another plastic bag at home, I would double wrap this, absolutely. And here's why. There's paper towel on the inside of here, and paper towel's job is to absorb moisture. So even if you're using plain paper or notebook paper, it's still paper and it still will absorb moisture. So you don't want your project to dry out. It will be fine. That paper towel will be fine in there as long as you've wrapped up your project really good. And like this Kroger bag, they're very thin. It has some holes in it. So I will double bag this when I'm finished. And, you just want it to stay nice and soft so that next class it's going to go from an egg into like a vase. I promise. I know right now it's just a big clay egg, but this is all we're going to do on it for today.